Hello there, my name is Sarah Blunden. I'm a sleep researcher and clinical psychologist, and I work with parents, teens and children and their families around sleep. I'm going to give you some helpful hints today about sleep in toddlers. When trying to understand sleep in toddlers, it's helpful to understand about their development in general. Toddlers are at a time in their lives when they're trying to search for more independence. They want to be separate from their parents, but they really want to be with their parents. So it's a time of a lot of behaviour change. Young toddlers need somewhere between 12 and 14 hours in a 24-hour period. That means overnight as well as in their daytime naps. An older toddler might need somewhere between 10 and 13 hours over that period, again between the nighttime sleep and the daytime naps. And the reason that that's not very precise is because every child is actually very different, and we have a range of sleep rather than a magic number. Of course, as toddlers get older, their sleep will decrease little by little, and usually by the age of 5, when toddlers are going to school, they won't be napping anymore at all. Probably the best way to find out whether your toddler is sleeping well enough is to see what they feel like when they wake up in the morning. If they wake up and they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and they're ready to take on their day and they're happy, they've probably slept enough. I think parents can probably tell that if a toddler wakes up and they're a bit grumpy and tired, then they haven't slept enough. The most common types of sleep problems in toddlers revolve around really the fact that toddlers don't want to sleep by themselves. They don't want to be alone at night time. And so they often will have bedtime refusal, bedtime resistance, and tantrum behaviour at bedtime. This is because they don't want to be by themselves. Accompanying that problem might be that parents would stay with the child until they get to sleep, or the child might sleep in mum and dad's bed, or there might be something or someone else that might stay with the toddler to keep them asleep. And that means that the toddler depends on those things to be able to get to sleep. Now, of course, that happens at the beginning of the night, but it also happens during the night when they wake up. One of the big problems that parents perceive in toddlers is the fact that they wake up a lot at night. But that actually is very normal. Toddlers wake up a lot overnight. And so it's not really the problem of waking up, it's actually what happens when the toddler wakes up. Parents need to re-establish those same associations overnight, such as perhaps them, or perhaps a bottle, or even a breastfeed to sleep. So that becomes the problem. Another major problem that toddlers have in sleep is when they have scary dreams and nightmares, or when they have perhaps sleep talking and sleepwalking. When a toddler wakes from a scary dream or nightmare, they will need comfort from parents because they've had a scary dream, and they don't understand the difference between reality and a dream. One of the difficulties is telling the difference between nightmares and night terrors. In fact, night terrors are the same as sleep talking and sleepwalking, only just worse. A night terror or sleepwalking or sleep talking happens when a child is in very deep sleep. And a night terror or a sleepwalk is a phenomenon that happens during that deep sleep. When parents try and comfort their child, the child actually probably won't respond, and that's because they're very much asleep. That's very different to a nightmare, which is a dream. A child will wake, be frightened, and require comfort. In a night terror, that often won't work. But if your child is having what you think might be a night terror, the best way to tell is to stand next to the child, make sure that they're safe, stand with them. But if they don't respond to your presence, they're probably not awake, in which case they are having a night terror. And if you stand next to them and keep them safe, they will probably just go back to sleep by themselves. One of the big problems at this age, of course, is that toddlers become fearful at night, and those toddlers need your help to be able to be brave enough to sleep by themselves. A final problem with toddler sleep is when their bedtimes or their wake times is actually quite different from day to day. It's really important that those sleep times and wake times stay quite the same. So if we have a toddler that sleeps at 7 o'clock one night or 9 o'clock the next night, that's actually very unhelpful for sleep and for sleep health. Sleep is very important for all areas of general health. And one of the main areas that's affected by poor sleep in toddlers is cognition, which is their thinking, their learning, how they remember, how they concentrate, how they problem solve. Another area that is affected when toddlers don't get enough sleep is emotion. Their emotions become very volatile. They're irritable, they can be aggressive, they can be hyperactive, they can't concentrate, and they certainly can't make a decision. And we know that problem solving and decision making in toddlers is difficult anyway. A third area that's affected by poor sleep in toddlers is behaviour. Their behaviour can become more erratic, more irritable, they become hyperactive, they can even become aggressive. A final area that is affected when toddlers don't get enough sleep is physical activity. They tend to have more accidents, they tend to break more bones, they find themselves at the doctor more often, and they're more likely to be overweight, eat junk food, and not do physical activity. So what can you do to try and help your toddler to get some good sleep? The first thing is probably to try and help your toddler to be an independent sleeper so that they can learn to self-soothe and get to sleep without you or any other thing that they can't do themselves. They need your help and support to do that because they might be frightened and they're not feeling very brave. They want to be with you. We can teach our toddlers how to sleep alone and independently, just like we can teach them to brush their teeth. If a parent is staying with a child to go to sleep, then we can withdraw from their room slowly and surely and rewarding them for their efforts to be brave while they're waiting. If they need something, like perhaps a bottle to get to sleep, perhaps we can help them to help themselves to their own little sippy cup. They then become more independent. They like that, and we reward them for their braveness. We have to try and help our toddlers to have regular sleep patterns, that their bedtimes and their wake times are fairly similar from day to day and from morning to morning. Having a calming and soothing bedtime routine is really important, and that can be something like having a bath, going to the bedroom and reading some books, lying on the bed together and telling some stories. So in summary, sleep is very important for toddlers. The amount of sleep they need changes as they get older and varies from child to child. Sleep is very important for cognitions, emotions, behaviour and physical activity. And if you think your child has a sleep problem, get some help.